The Rio Grande Valley is famous for its unique mix of Mexican and American cultures. But now it will be also famous and known for housing one of the world's most impactful contributions to today's climate change. Today, we will explore the upcoming Brownsville liquid natural gas facilities and the threat they represent to our people, to our community, the community of Rio Grande Valley, and how this local group, South Texas Environmental Justice Network, aims and claims to unite people and fight towards this issue. Through our thoughtful research of latest studies regarding LNG, we feel well equipped to address this controversial topic. With this danger knocking at our door, it is monumental for the public to stay informed regarding everything around LNG to keep our community safe. First, we will cover the problem LNG poses. Second, what causes this issue? And finally, how this local group of activists is trying to help the RGV to stay out of harm. Let's start with the problem with my partner, Victor.
Thank you, Fernanda. Now, liquid natural gas, which is just natural gas in a liquid form, isn't itself the problem, but rather how it's processed. During its processing, it is transported, liquefied, and then later reprocessed. This releases some small methane emissions to the atmosphere. Now, of course, they might be small, but methane is 28 times more potent than carbon at capturing heat as stated by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. This makes it an even more dangerous greenhouse gas, even when small emissions are being let out into the air. So this will make climate change even worse and will make the already hot Texas summer even hotter. Now, another issue related with LNG is how it's marketed. The government and energy-related companies push LNG as a safer alternative than other fossil fuels like coal just because of its smaller carbon emissions. Now, this, of course, is just a misconstruction as they make up for it with huge methane damage to the atmosphere. Now, also to build up on this, it's how LNG will bring jobs to the RGB. Now, of course, this is good, but it pushes the narrative that the only option for jobs to the RGB will be through fossil fuels. As stated by the Department of Energy, renewable energy bring even more jobs than fossil fuels to Americans. Renewable energy is responsible for 8 million jobs here in America, while fossil fuels just bring 2. So with this narrative that we need LNG instead of, let's say, solar panels, this causes a huge problem with the populace. And going back to the methane emissions, the LNG facilities, it's not just here in Brownsville, it's all throughout the US. So imagine the damage one can cause. Now multiply that by, let's say, 10, 20. In the long run, it will cause huge damage to the environment. So now that we've discussed the problems, let's move on to the cause with my classmate, Alondra.
Thanks, For the cause of the problem, we have the methane that leaks from the LNG facilities. The US government opts for LNG instead of using something safer for the community and for the residents, something like the renewable energy sources. And as Abramov said in 2023, taking longer if all US projects in the permitting pipeline are approved, they could lead to 3.9 billion tons of greenhouse gas emission annually, which is actually larger than the entire annual emissions of the European Union. And another thing to add to the cost is that the LNG facilities have gone forward despite the pushback that they have received from the community and the RGB residents. The community is actually against the LNG facilities because they know the problem that they represent, but the complaints have not been effective because as cited in Palmer on 2022, the LNG review process have been a little more than a check the box exercise. And now with these 2 causes that we discussed, we can go ahead and review how this threat can be addressed with my partner, Camila.
Thank you, Alondra. As it is known, the South Texas Environmental Justice Network pushes for petitions and protests to oppose LNG. They do so by inviting the public to sign petitions opposing LNG and adjacent projects. Our proposal to this problem is switching to safer energy sources such as solar and nuclear. As once reached in 2020, fossil fuels are the dirtiest and most dangerous, while nuclear and modern renewable energy sources are vastly safer and cleaner. We know so because fossil fuels have demonstrated to cause air pollution and water pollution. Also, they're a huge contributor to climate change. Our proposal puts the people's needs at first by creating a safer and cleaner environment for future generations. With everything we've gone over, it's time to recap with Matthew.
Thank you, Camila. Looking back at the problem that all the problems that LNG is gonna bring to the Rio Grande Valley, as Victor said, it is national. So it's not just here in the Rio Grande Valley, but we do know that it's national and it brings a lot of pollution to the earth, right? To the atmosphere. Um, Alongside with that, I know that they are dumping chemicals into our bays, into our channels. That's gonna you know pollute a lot when it comes to food such as seafood. Um, and alongside with that, we do need you all to sign this reject the LNG tax breaks petition. That's going to help us major whenever it comes out to getting our opinion out there and pushing all these giant corporates away. Um, that's going to help with our community staying safe, staying green, right? Not being polluted, and that's going to help out with our youth, with our elder. It's going to help out in the long run. By signing that petition, it's going to help us move forward and hopefully get these giant corporates to go ahead and push them away from this nice community that we got going on. Thank you.